so much stuff, which is why I say low key we're worse. We may not have as outwardly drastic, like crack gonna fuck your shit up. The heroin is gonna fuck your shit up. What happens with that. But with these drugs today, like you can have functional zombies for a minute, and like everybody's mental health is just deteriorating.
Yeah, it's like I'm not anybody's drug expert, but it is a thing where like all these like, you got to be Walter White to make drugs now, and it's just like these extreme, science project compounds. It's like, man, that's not drugs. That's like
That's
you taking I don't know, you're taking like a supplement in reverse. If and like
right.
that's how I feel like it in my mind. Like, if you're like into fitness and stuff, you take supplements, they do X, Y, Z to your body, depending which one you take. It seems like these drugs now, it's like it's beyond making you high. It's like, I don't know, man. Its extreme function is to like deteriorate your body at such a weird extreme level. Like even working with like clients who have been like, like their choice was meth. It
Mhm.
just was like, and it is like seeing a picture. It is like, I guess, our version of like say crack, because it's like you see what people like might have been, or hearing what, especially like the older population, like hearing what they were before that, and it's like, holy shit, man! Like, yeah, I have a family, like I have kids, and like I just this thing got a hold, and
I abandoned all of that quickly.
yeah,
And that's every judge. Not even actually, oddly enough, I last week. So in the boys group that I normally do on Mondays,
mm,
this month we were doing suicide. So we've done suicide before, but I put a little spin onto it. So it's like things that contribute to suicide or suicidal ideation, like things outside of mental health deterioration, things that can contribute to somebody being in that emotional state. So last week I talked about like substance use. So
mm,
I had like a list of like the top 50 most used drug or most abused drugs, and it's kind of like quizzed them on, like made a game out of it. Like which one do you think is like number one, this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. And we kind of
mm,
made a game of it. So we know we talk about, like you said, mentioned fentanyl. We think of these hardcore drugs, sugar and alcohol
yeah,
are on top five. Now we may talk about it and we may joke about it as far as like say diabetes and weight gain and things of that nature, but we don't look at sugar as a drug, and we definitely don't look at alcohol as a drug. But alcohol is like the the withdrawal from alcohol abuse and like trying to get off it is damn near worse than anything else.
yeah,
And we don't talk about that. I know we kind of starting off kicking your teeth in with some heavy shit. I mean, this is supposed to be the venting aspect, so this ain't even the topic for the day. But
diabetes.
yeah, it's like we don't realize how much addiction we are surrounded by and how it just kills us slowly. It kind of sucks.
So there's, and I haven't really followed like listened to a full. I like break it up, but like Huberman Lab, he's cool. He's like a neuroscientist. Like
Mhm.
he talks about stuff like that. And it's also funny, like it's like little basic uh practices to kind of like, kickstart your brain. Him and like, I like the Rich Roll podcast, and I follow a lot of these. I've been on like, I said this before, like, but I've been on like this kick of like, you know, following these like neuroscience pages, because they have like little things, but they'll mention stuff like that about like, did you know? Like, listen, did you
I
know
did not.
that this, and this will like rack your body? And I'm like, I feel like I'm getting like, I don't know, maybe it's like there's probably some kid who's like 15 who's like super into it. But like, I just feel myself getting more interested like as I get older, like, damn, that did what to my body? Whoa. Like,
I'm not
hey,
gonna do anything in a minute.
whoa, I'm trying to go to bed at 10:30, baby. Like, what? So like it's a trip to when like, and that's one cool thing where like Instagram has put it like, you just break this stuff down, because sometimes I don't need you to tell me like a 7-hour lecture. Hit me with the
Nah.
hit me with the facts. And it's
Yeah.
like, look at these 10 slides. This does this and this deteriorates like this. So, think about that. And I've even like, the more I think, I don't know, man, the more you're aware of something, I think a little bit of obviously your brain can put you in a space where you're gonna just um what's that thing, like hypochondriacs, like, I cut
Yeah.
my arm's gonna fall off. But I think about that because I still, I give me a little sip,
A little taste.
but I have noticed that like, okay, this number has, now I'm really like, I'm taking too long to shake back the next day.
Mhm.
So this is my limit, or this is my number, or this is whatever. Like, because I'll give you guys, like, size, how much you work out, blah, blah, blah. But I've noticed, like, okay, this right here, this was whew, I'm having a tough goal. 'Cause I'm gonna go to the gym or something, but it's like, man, I was dragging today. Okay, don't do whatever, or don't drink that much, or this this specific thing. Like, I've noticed now that, not because I'm some type of prude, but I'm looking to, if I'm going to indulge, let me go ahead to the actual, like, I'm not gonna go to Vons. Like, I might have to go to little whatever and get the top quality one, because it's not because it tastes good, but the smoothness is representative of how it affects my body or some shit like that.
You know, when you mentioned like us having more information on things, being
Yeah.
more informed, being more exposed to the truth of certain things, it can turn into a hypochondriac. The way my brain was functioning is like what baffles me. We are in the information age. We'll see these same posts and memes and things of that nature that reference stuff, and you have a number of different responses that people will stereotypically have. But the fact that we can still joke about it and continue utilizing the same shit that we're getting information on, that hurts us. It boggles my mind that we have more information and we dive deeper into the shit after we are informed about it. Like it almost makes people, it's like say on social media when people are doing, everybody does those dumbass prank videos where people don't
Yeah,
know.
I want y'all to stop those so
Right.
bad.
But because it can blow up, it can go viral, it can be like the attention is the biggest drug that we have right now.
Yeah, I saw one dude pull a gun on somebody. Like, he was like, I'm not with this. I know what y'all doing, and I don't like that. They ran up on one of these old NBA players. I forgot who it was. But yeah, it's stop
I
that.
mean, it ain't no different. I think the one I sent you
Ray
was,
Allen. There we go.
oh, y'all making Ray pull a foul?
Yeah, like, he didn't pull the fire, but Ray was like, "Stop playing with me." Like, he registered. I know what y'all doing. Stop this. I don't like this.
This is not it. I mean, this is
Yeah.
no different. The one I sent you with the two brothers, and like the other brother's about to, he's like, I was about to
Oh yeah,
shank
you
your
right.
dumb
Oh
ass.
yeah. Yeah.
I was about to shank your
And
dumb
the
ass because you
dude he was
playing too
talking to
fucking
was
much.
like, "I got one too." So like,
Right.
it ain't.
You was about to get double stuffed because you playing too much for the drug of attention and being addicted to it. But like we know this stuff happens. We know these things are real, and we will risk putting ourselves in the line of fire or diving deeper into these types of addictions just for the sake of attention or notoriety or acceptance or whatever the case is. So it always boggles my mind that we'll sacrifice everything just for the sake of some temporary silly shit.
But I think that's like, you have access, and it's one thing to have access to knowledge. It's another thing to, like, I don't know, like, know the right things to look at and understand what it does for your body. Because some people talk about, you know, it's my usual rant about y'all just like saying things and it not like not adjusting the meaning properly. But like you said, attention. But like that does have addictive properties. And while I'm not anybody's neuroscientist, these pages and stuff like that, just things that we don't, I think, as a group get into. And it's like, nah, man, this is affecting your brain chemistry. Like, you're not, trying to there's one thing about using these platforms and understanding what you're doing. Because crazy thing is, some of these dudes who are doing it for attention, or some of these other communities, understand that I might look like I'm thirsty, but I know exactly what I'm doing. When I'm not making content, I'm cutting this off.
Right.
Where the rest of everybody is chastening it so much, they've made it like I can't sit nowhere like without my phone. You're now addicted. Like, your
Yeah.
brain is like trying to gasp for air and shit like that. And that's a whole different bag of, but we don't notice that because we don't really talk about that.
I mean, that's another like a social addiction as far as like keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Like we can get addicted to wanting to be like other people because it's so much easier than being like ourselves, which is an issue.
I think some of that stuff comes from like, I know we say like the everybody's favorite line is like, make sure you check in. And it's like, or people would say, like, people say check in with yourself. And it's a good thing to do. But I think sometimes understanding what that looks like for me, sometimes a check in might literally take me 30 minutes,
Right.
and I'm like, and I don't, and I think I've been trying to do this so long that I haven't really sat down about, like, to figure out, like, people need sometimes a play by play, step by step.
Mm.
But like, legit, if I'm like, I'm feeling off, I'll drive, I'll go to the store. You can do two, three things at once. You can pat your head and rub your stomach.
Right.
And like, I'm just processing, like, during the check, and like, oh, That's why I feel like that. Oh, that's what set me off. Even something as small as like I'm not feeling I'm really tired today. I know I went to sleep like this. So what's my problem? I might have to play back all yesterday. Oh, I didn't eat as many times as I need to for the diet I've been on, or I didn't whatever, whatever.
I mean, that's a certain level of self awareness, though, because I think that's like, say, for us, I think we have, and people like us have a little bit of a privilege of utilizing the information properly to be able
That's
to
true.
discern and problem solve. Because, like, so say for instance, even with the sleep, people just be like, "Oh, I didn't get enough sleep," and that's just all it is. I'm tired as fuck. Like, why you tired? Like, I just ain't get enough sleep. Like, no, that ain't it. You've been like, you don't have the information or the wherewithal to really understand what the real need is and how to address it. Just like people can go get fucking smashed all weekend long, and you'd be surprised how many people I talk to that don't know how much water their body needs
Hmm.
just to function normally. Like, everybody has been going off this 8 cups a day bullshit. So you mean to tell me everybody that has different body shapes,
Shaq need 8 cups, and
Shaq
so do
need
and
eight,
so do Kevin Hart.
right? They both need 8 cups of water. Come on now, not to mention the diet and the liquor and all the other stuff. So like, we have the information out there. Like, you can pull it up on the app. Like my phone, that they said Android that y'all be talking shit about, I can open up my LG Health and it will tell me based on your weight and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. This is how much water you need to drink. This is how you track it. This is how you can track your exercise. And this is how many steps you took. Like, we have the information at our fingertips and we still are aloof.
I end up sounding like my mom when I think things like that because like that sounds off top like a lot of work, but we are also a group that could track how many times like people now are like Rihanna's coming to the Super Bowl. Is people who track like her day to day activities and don't know this woman, but tracking water might be
Y'all will go
tough.
out, y'all. We have made TMZ famous.
Isn't
a,
that
a
nuts? TMZ.
company that gets paid to track what somebody else is doing 24/7 for you to understand that as a patron, as a fan. They have nothing to do with you. They don't know you exist. They will probably never see you a day in their life, but they get paid to give you useless information about this individual.
But isn't that nuts that like TMZ used to be like some guerrilla weird
Like,
tactic
this
that
weird
it was
shit.
just dudes that were like out, but TMZ individuals are now famous.
They're a network. They're like looked at as actual reporters and journalists.
That was a crazy thing this week. I was looking at they had, like the DJ academic stuff went all over the internet and calling people dusty and blah blah blah. And
Addicted to attention.
he went on the Breakfast Club
Uh,
and
oh,
he made some decent points to explain himself, but he was like he was stating that like there's a weird space now, especially even in hip hop, where the lines of what's considered journalism and what like journalistic integrity and all that stuff is like blurred because there's so many people in the space and there's so many people that are just like saying stuff. And what does it mean to like go do the work? He says like, he's like, I'm really doing the work. I'll get on the phone, I'll talk to executives. He's like, a lot of these blogs, you're just kind of people looking for like popular information and stuff like that.
that would make me like him even less, because you do all that work to still get on your platform and spew out some dumb shit.
Yeah,
I can take somebody that doesn't have the information and they spit out something ignorant. You don't have the information, you are ignorant. Okay, I get it. I can give you some peas with that. You did research and talked to multiple people and you still say the silly shit that you say on your platform.
yeah,
You choosing to be dumb. Like, you might be utilizing it for clickbait or whatever the case is, but you're still promoting stupidity when you're doing the work of an intelligent person. It makes no sense.
I thought it still was a faux pas in journalism to have TMZ on the resume. Is it? I mean, at this point, I don't know. Like, I'm not super in the journalistic space besides what we do here, but like,
Wikipedia can be sourced in your papers, in your research. And
still,
I
I mean, not
re
still, but like, I didn't know that was like a thing. Like,
I remember when, like,
you couldn't, yeah,
Wikipedia,
you couldn't have
you
that,
didn't, you dare not
and that
put Wikipedia as your source for
I've
a
never
paper
done it because I remember doing it once in like high school and got
and
blasted
got
for it.
ripped. But
Yeah,
now it's a credible resource for information.
he's never been a journalist. Real journalists would never respect him. me an actual journalist. I mean, bars. That man went to school for that.
He's not a real journalist. He's a DP because he backpedals so well.
Yes, yes,
That nigga
whatever.
backpedal is immaculate.
But yeah, his reasoning, before I just blast him and say excuse, but it's kind of excuses, is like he's like, I stream for like 6 hours and people will take. But as much as that's
I'm delusional. My blood sugar. You know, I need an 8-piece fried chicken in between
yeah,
each
I don't know,
break.
man.
So
Yeah, like as much as that's a true thing, because I say a lot of wild stuff here, so I understand what that is. That somebody will eventually take the 3 minutes of what somebody, actually not even somebody, like it's y'all that we know personally that'll that'll either mention it on the pod, or call us personally and be like, you said, if you listen like 3 minutes after that, the whole thing comes into context. So I don't know, like
if you watch the entire meme that you saw it off of, you would see how the meme
or
provides
that.
context to what.
So yeah, in that regard, like this might be one moment where I'm like, I can't really pull him off the hook for a lot of other things, but in this particular set of things, mainly just actually take that back. The Dusty conversation is the only thing where he was like, because his overall conversation was, he's like, I wasn't talking about the old guard, just the ones who grab the torch and don't take anything back to them, like don't relay any information back to the youth. They're Dusty. So I was like, okay, cool. But I don't know. It's still certain aspects of dog that I can't really.
You had time to prepare that meeting
Yeah,
train to answer. That ain't
that
what you really
point.
meant initially. You was talking about money initially. You was talking about all these young niggas getting more money. These niggas, you just had that has nothing to do with taking back to your community. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Rude to the violent bros.
The bar,
It's set in hell.
pretty much the bar low now. I fought C-Sun because the teacher I had beef with tried to get me kicked out of school over plagiarism when she plagiarized notes that I used in a paper. Damn. She told everyone to do. I'm with you. Burn it all. I mean,
I mean, it's CSUN is one of the more progressive universities. So, well, progressive PWI university.
okay, I will say this. Like, I haven't vented on this. This is an event that I didn't missed
Go
last week.
ahead.
Oh,
It's okay.
just look, 5 minutes. I got
Yeah, you
time.
got plenty of time. Just
So
let it out.
it wasn't a season thing. I want to say the girl was at USC, and I'm not trying to jump on the girl, but the girl who did the majorette thing, I saw that being like a back and forth thing on the and it was like, yes, bring it to the whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, man, as a proud HBCU graduate, I just feel like if you wanted that, you should have went. Like you should have went down there with us. Like there's too many to pick from, and I get if your program or whatever you love to do wasn't at SC, then the same way I can't really do the volunteer because I didn't go to this school. I can't do whatever Kent State does. I didn't go there. I can't do I can't do this because I didn't go there. I went to Grambling. You didn't go there. And I just feel like I don't know, man. I wasn't feeling that. I'm not necessarily knocking her. I understand where like the desire might have come from, but I will say that that one particular thing I was not feeling, but also because I'm very big on now, like we don't gatekeep enough, and then we be having these
Right.
same circular conversations,
Right.
whether it's hip hop, whether it's whatever, and it's like, okay, well, at some point you have to learn when to like keep that to yourselves, because if you bring it to them, and then you have, you know, Susan want to come and join, how are you gonna tell her no?
You can't. And he'll have the same situation as like, I will blame all you bastards that liked was the fucking Bring It On or whatever the fuck that movie was
It
back in the
was
day.
Bring It On, Save the Last Dance,
All of them,
Honey, all them shits.
all them let them in the cookout for no reason type movies. This would be the same thing. Like that's black culture. That's black HBCU culture. Why do we need that here at USC? USC wouldn't even pay them to play in a preseason game. You wouldn't invite the HBCU to come to the school and play y'all as one of y'all like quote unquote easy dubs. You wouldn't do that. So why do you deserve to have parts of the culture? You would give nothing to it.
C-Sun is C-Sun is fake woke.
Absolutely. They pseudo woke, but that's I still stand by they are one of the more progressive universities, which says a whole lot.
That sucks. USC did blackface parties.
See,
I'm cool with wedging her way into a space White frats do step shows. CSUN did one. I'm not with none of this
White,
shit.
white, and well, it's not just the white frats because we have some of our brown brethren that also do step shit for their organizations as well. It's just like everybody latched on to the novelty, at least to them, it's a novelty of what is an extension of Black culture, and they try to emulate it. And it's like, don't do that. You don't see Black folks having quinceañeras, so why are you trying to?
But I will say that's on us because we are unnecessarily inviting and don't, I think a bit of Black people's thing is we know what it's like to have people just like be completely like shoving you out of the space.
Right.
And I feel like we try not to do that to others when you don't have to like blow your top, but you could explain this is ours for this reason.
Right.
I know why I'm a visitor in certain cultures. If I go my Latin homies thing, if I go to my Asian homies thing, if I go to my Middle Eastern homies thing, I'm a visitor.
Right.
I'm gonna do very visitor shit. Thank you for having me around. Thank you for letting me involve myself in. I can enjoy the food. I can enjoy this. I can clap. Y'all tell me to come get down with whatever the thing we're doing right now, whether it's a dance or whatever. I'm a visitor, and then I leave my visitor pass when I leave this event. We don't do that enough. This is a active, true and tried and true culture, just like anything else, and it should be treated as such.
It should, but we don't understand the difference between like support and appropriation. Like that visitor pass is support. I'm here to support. We all know how to support. I'm going to whatever event to show face for people because I don't really feel like being social. I'm gonna get some snacks, shake some hands, say what's up, and then I'm out. I'm gonna go show support. But we don't look at it as like, nah, y'all not supporting, y'all appropriating. We let you get away with appropriating by calling it support, and then dun, 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 that's how we look up and have white folks dabbing on Colgate commercials and silly shit like that because we didn't gatekeep, as you saying.
And I will say we didn't gatekeep because I know when the gatekeep conversation comes up, it's always like one side or another. It's a we thing. Also, commercial in 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, you could have strung it out a little bit longer. But
well, yeah, I was actually thinking that when I did this, that it was gonna like be, but it really kept going.
You thought a lot more time had passed than it did. It's okay. We know how to like playful banter until it's a couple.
I mean, that's what we're in the process of doing.
I mean, I'm sure they figure that out.
Pro tip, guys: if you're gonna pod, learn to just fill it with words where you just keep saying shit while it's going on, and then when your time comes up, commercial. Boom.
Or no.
Time comes up, commercial.
Okay.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the Podcast Pit.
What's the Podcast Pit?
I'm glad you asked. The Podcast Pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The Podcast Pit is coming. The Podcast Pit is coming.
Jones, also known as Zach, the original Black Ranger. Hey, and make sure you're checking out TGN Radio. Hey.
Peace, family, brother Reza. I'm here. You already know I'm checking in with TGN Radio, Black owned, so you already know that's where I'm at. Tap in.
Are you trying to buy a home, car, or make other investments and being discriminated against because of your credit score? At credit909.com, our professionals can help you remove judgments, student loans, child support, medical bills, and other erroneous and negative items on your credit report. Call 800-752-9763 today for a free credit analysis and consultation, or text credit to 909-688-5461.
Hey there, business owners. Don't miss our limited time offer. Advertise on the Good News Radio as low as $2 per commercial slot. That's right. Promote your business up to 4 times a day, every day for a month on live radio. If you're interested, email us at contact@tgnradio.net. Once again, that's contact@tgnradio.net.
Girl, what you doing on Tuesday?
Girl, you know I'm gonna be listening to Never Not Extra.
Oh, word. What time they come on?
Girl, you know they come on at 8:30, but only on Pacific Standard Time. So 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, how do I listen though?
Only on the Good News Radio app, girl.
The Good News Radio app. Okay, I'm about to download that right now.
Go ahead and download that shit, girl, and get in the comments, girl.
Oh, you know I'm gonna be up in there.
Because you know Kirsten be crazy.
And Moni be spilling that tea.
Ooh, all right. See you on Tuesday, girl.
Hey, my name is Jasmine Sweets, and I'm so excited to be bringing you The Sweet Spot on TGN Vibes, Good Vibes, and R&B. Playing the old school, new school, and in between. I'm coming to you this summer. Stay tuned.
Birthdays are meant for celebration, and when it comes to celebrating, Flour and Sugar never misses a beat. Offering custom cake designs to fit any special occasion, your cake will be the talk around town. From sushi cakes to perfume bottles, everything is always edible with flavors like Oreo, banana pudding, and our top flavor, strawberry shortcake. I can't miss. Order your special cake today by email at flourandsugarla@gmail.com or visit our website at flourandsugar.store. Or if you want to see new design, follow us on Instagram at _flour_and_sugar_.
What's up, everyone?
Sultry. Sultry and soothing, baby.
I don't know if you're gonna.
I know it's coming.
You're gonna get, therapy, sex. You're gonna get both.
Well, why not? I mean, I tell people all the time, DC stands for dick counseling.
It's funny every time. I've heard that specific joke at least double-digit times. It's never not funny.
It's never not funny.
Hey, never not extra, guys.
Plug. They'll be later on this evening.
Ooh.
What do we have here before we transition? I know we missed a couple comments.
Appropriation is nasty. USC does not care
at all. University of South Central.
UCLA, way more disrespectful than almost any PWI.
Absolutely, because you got a bunch of trust fund babies. University of Caucasians, Latinos, and Asians.
CSUN has white women teaching in Africana studies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that actually is leading us to where I'm going.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I want to CSUN at the height of toxicity and cowardice. Good words. I
mean, I was there during that same time. Shout out to Dr. Lipscomb. I appreciate that. There's a black doctor that hooded me when I walked across the stage. So we got some decent ones up there in CSUN. Every school has some decent people. But yes, at PWIs, there is a lot more nastiness than there is black folks that can clean it up. And we shouldn't have to clean it up for them in the first place. I would much rather we just annex to our own shit. But the only black college we have here in California is Dominguez. It's not even a black college anymore.
I mean, I get on that plane, man.
I'm not opposed to it. If I didn't get paid to go to a PWI, I definitely had already got accepted to black colleges. So that was definitely the next step.
A number of them get to going. But speaking of white women in Africana studies,
white women in Africana studies, or like white women that like get with a like woke black dude and they get some locks and some dashiki print.
I want them to just him go on somewhere. That is,
it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like when we talk about gatekeeping, there is a lot of people that, which I've never understood, but they get more intact with their spirituality and their blackness and their Afrocentricity, and then they get a other that is in support but appropriating, and they welcome them into the space and they do the same thing. The African dashiki prints and the natural black hairstyles and things of that nature. And because they go to a drum circle, they are supportive of.
Listen, I'm cool. And I've said it before. Love is love. You find, but that to me seemed like you trying to make my culture a caricature. And that, if there is something that will like send me through the roof, that's it right there. I don't want none of that. I don't even. I saw the woman
milk of magnesia.
Yeah, I saw the woman this week. And
I haven't seen it, so I'm going to respond to your response because part of me just I wanted to see it, and part of me doesn't want to see it.
I felt the same, but I felt like if I needed to, like, I saw too much commentary about it, and also like, just in my personal life, people were, like, just talking to me about it. So I was like, okay, let me go see what the
What the uproar is.
yeah,
I
what the
want to do that. Get some popcorn in the middle of the day when I have some free time. Just walk to the movie theater and just sit down, and I'll give my money to it because there's black people that get supported from it, but at the same time, formulate my own opinion.
and that's what it does though. Like that one, it's a good movie for that in and of itself.
Mhm.
But the more I watched it, it made me feel like, because I obviously, like, uproar in the movie is that specific tribe, like that specific people, that the homie people, and what they have historically contributed to the transatlantic slave trade. That's what everybody's big issue was. Like, it's not historically accurate. It's not to the T. That's what I saw a lot of online.
Mhm.
And when I watched the film, a lot of what the film does, I enjoy. So it kind of made me think, like, is a good lie better than like a harsh or bad truth? Because even what the film lied about produced a lot of people to, like, go look this information up. A lot of y'all was not knowledgeable. A lot of people were not. I'm just learning this. 50 videos about people just learning this. Another bajillion videos of people having the usual conversations that slavery was looked at differently in our country, back home. It was more of a, you go to war, you were still a person with human decent rights until you came over here, and it was like, let me wear you back as a bag. Like, you come over here and, like, not to, I know it's a harsh joke, but, like, over here it was like, oh, it's a crocodile newborn. Like, that's what slavery was here. It was like this unnecessarily grotesque thing, and everybody's making these videos about whether or not they were like that over there. I saw a video and it discussed, like, they got to it. That specific tribe got to it in the space of, like, war, and so it's not like they're, like, devoid of blood on their hands. But what the movie did is, like, there's a lot of depictions of, they're just really kick-ass women, and it's not like and it's not feminism, like, run rampant for off the backs of men. Like, there are definitely men who are villain, but it's not men as a whole are trash. It's like her dynamic with the king, her dynamic with, there's two groups that are, like, the women who are the focus and they're kicking ass, but you understand just in the back end, and I know how I watch movies, looking at the little shit. It's like there's a group over here of also dudes who are warrior ass kickers, and they work in tandem. They do battles with each other, little games there, but at the end of the day, they both work in tandem. There's a scene where, like, Viola Davis' character and the leader of the dude group, they get into it, like, about how the kingdom should move. And then there's a moment in the movie where she kind of sets off on her own. Oh, hey, commercial, messing with my actual, like, really great point. Where they get into it, and at the end of the film, like, he's one of the people, like, right there by her side. So, little things like that I find important, because it's like, hey, look at us having conflict and
Being able to resolve it.
and resolving it healthily. Hey, look at us having, like, there's tropes of her being obviously a rider as, like, their group of kicking ass and loyal to the king and blah blah blah. Him choosing her, because that's how the whole thing of him choosing her to be like, we're on par equally. Like, obviously, spoiler alert, you saw the title.
Right.
Like, that's where the movie ends up. There's other wives in it, polygon, like all that, but it shows the difference between, like, a wife who's kind of just there for the status, who would have sent the kingdom off into, like, a whole other whatever, and then somebody who has all these other good qualities that aren't necessarily just beauty related. So I'm like, is the lie okay? Because it does, I feel like, a lot more for what we need to see as far as us as a community. Like, the movie does a lot of good, as opposed to just going, by the way, they was enslaved, and I'm not taking away from it, and I don't know the answer to this. I haven't really come up with the answer myself.
Right.
But when I watched the film, I was like, I understand everybody's gripe. I understand the issue with having, because one of the other issues is, like, one of the writers aren't black women. The
Right.
director was a black woman. Everybody who's on front of the screen, everybody who you can send on the press run is black. But the women who wrote this, I want to say all, if not a majority of them, are white. And I don't know how Hollywood works, but I know when I see a lot of us write scripts, we don't write these movies. So is it simply her fault, their fault for going, well, this is a story that needs to be told? Are they terrible white women appropriating? Are they white women who like, I think this is a good story to be told for some feminist stuff, probably, but it ends up being a boon for us? Is the lie better than the truth?
In that scenario, I say no. Only because like somebody else told a lie and they're told a lie for someone else's culture and they're making money off of it. We tell lies, which is why we avoid making stories in their authenticity. Like we could easily, I know there's Africana studies, like you said, even PWIs have Africana studies majors. I know a few of them. Like we have people that know this information. No, they're not the ones writing those scripts. Why? Because we feel like our people aren't going to support it. We're not going to get paid for it. So we make up a story that is a lie that's going to make us more money. We'd rather sell the lie because it's more profitable than selling the truth. We've always, as a people, not even just this society in America, as a people all over, we gravitate towards lies more than we do truth. We think of the world wars, propaganda. People love to gravitate towards propaganda, whatever their country was presenting. They didn't want the truth. When they started showing the actual footage of the bombings and the killings and stuff, it was like, oh my God, what is going on here? But when you saw your country is fighting for your freedom right now, when you saw those videos in the movie theaters, they were cheering because they would rather have that lie and it makes them feel good. Or even like, based on the conversation that I just had off air, we like when we think of Middle Eastern countries, you think of, for their religion, they die and you get 12 virgins as your whatever, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. That's the lie that people like to latch on to and maybe ha about. But in reality, they over there killing women just for dressing not to their liking and double, triple, quadruple digit numbers just because you saw somebody's feet. You decide that you want to cut her head off or whatever the case is. So it's like, those are the realities. And there's other people like us that would prefer to have the reality. I'd rather, rip the Band-Aid off. Let's get to it. Let's start addressing the wound the way it needs to be, because this bandage ain't holding up and we actually need to give it proper attention. I would prefer to do that, but not everybody is I. So
see, I would prefer that when I feel like I guess in this specific example, because I usually ride with that. In this specific example, what made me like falter back and forth is because the way people were telling the truth, it was like, this group sucked and they participated in the slave trade. And I'm like, okay, we got that. And I'm not trying to dismiss that information because they talked about that in the film too. Like they didn't say like they didn't do this. They did kind of paint it as like they had a moral whatever. And so I was like, I don't know that that's true. But
not to cut you off, but part of that truth that we have to acknowledge, not to give our ancestors some, and I'm not trying to shoot them too much bail, but their idea of slavery was different.
Yeah.
So they participated in these things, which is true. But you've had countries like Ghana, I think, what was it, 2020? And was the year of return, or what was it, 2020, 2021? One of those years was the year of the return in Ghana, and they had their ancestors, as people admit, like, my ancestors helped sell our brothers and sisters into slavery.
I just saw a post about that said they want to come back here, like to Kansas City or something, and like give a formal apology on U.S. soil or some shit.
Right. Like you have people that have profited from American slavery and they didn't know the extent of what they were profiting from. They just knew that, okay, we're thinking slavery over there is going to look the same way it looks here, which is you get treated as a human being. You're just part of our country now. You're part of our territory. So yes, they participated in that, but an extension of that truth is some brutalized slaves. Yes. Some just looked at it as a way to extend their territory or whatever the case is. But these are truths that we have to know all the ugly sides of it to be able to discern whatever our perspective should be as individuals.
Ken said, and a white woman wrote it and a mixed chick helped her put it together. Sweet lies are worse than bitter truths. No one's history is devoid of blood in their hands. Right. Kenneth said the lie is never okay. I like his Rorschachness.
Straight up.
So part of that makes me think like, as far as like movies go, like I think about 12 Years a Slave was by a black man, right? He made that movie, right?
I believe so.
And then you have like the Django's that are like not a real flick, but people were up in arms about that because Quentin Tarantino got to say nigga. But I got to watch a film where a black man blew away all the white people that did him dirty, where it did not hide how brutal slavery was. It did not make any of this. Like, I didn't walk away from that thinking like, thanks, Quentin Tarantino, white man, for building up. Quentin got a buck off that. But if I watch some of these other films that we make, we dance in the pain of it. So I guess like I struggle with what's the better payoff. Like, tell me the truth, but if this truth is also not wrapped in any way to help me get better, it's like, remember that we was fucking dogged out here.
Right.
Cool. But why aren't you telling me the truth about these revolts? Why aren't you telling me the truth about these other kingdoms? Why aren't you telling me the truth about good things that happen here? The only truths we like to tell is Emmett Till's story again. We want to watch 15 Martin Luther King movies that all end with him getting shot.
Because black trauma pays. So we don't want to tell the truth about the thing that makes us money. We'll tell the truth about, what is it, Dangerous Minds, the white savior that comes in and makes black spaces better.
Mhm.
We'll tell the truth about those stories because those are feel-good stories that paint us in a positive light. But we're not going to tell the truth, the entire truth about those other stories. That's why Roots was so fucking shocking when it came out, because although it was fiction that was based in truth, it's the first time somebody was like legitimately honest about some shit for the most part. I mean, we still had Chicken George and all this other stuff that was going on, but for the most part, that's the first time people actually got to see somewhat of a truth, and it shocked people.
That's a good point. I'm just like,
Hidden Colors.
Hidden Colors told the truth from scholars. Imagine if reading Rainbow lied to us and we all grew up to realize none of us can read. Shit would be awful. That's true. But see, I guess, and that's another thought I had about like Hidden Colors is not a movie.
That's not a motion picture thing that they're gonna blast out publicly. You only see that because you follow the people.
Yeah, I had to I had to really go like
You
buy
have to
that
go
from
find that,
especially the first couple from like you had to go directly to Tariq Nasheed's fucking like
Yeah,
website to get
they
that.
wasn't even trying to put that in stores. Nobody was supporting it. That was a strictly black funded and supported thing of real information. And there's a lot of us still to this day that don't even really know Hidden Colors exist.
Yeah. So when we make like motion pictures and films and things like that, like I want to know, I guess, what is I understand this. I know it's always just going to be like studios and the push and this, that, and the third. But what is our pushback with making these films that make us heroes? Like, I don't like that a white woman or I don't like that Quentin Tarantino made Django. I don't like that in order to see Jon Stewart put his ring together, it won't be a black dude probably that puts that together. Like, what is our apprehension? Because a lot of our stories that we big up, and I'm not trying to take nobody's money or knock it off the table, but our stories, we tell these like trauma porn things ourselves and lean on the fact that it's the truth. That's the truth. That's what happened. I ain't never seen a nigga fly, but seeing a nigga fly is a lie that will inspire me, that would inspire my son, that would inspire my daughter. Like seeing Captain Marvel on WandaVision. That's a complete lie. That woman doesn't exist. She got big hair. Skip that. Ariel is a lie. Ariel does not exist. Ariel is a bold-faced, flat-out lie of pure imagination. Our nation lost. Black people, black girls across the nation lost their shit from a 30-second thing. So I'm trying to understand why with us we can't. And maybe a lie is not the right choice of words, but y'all will click it anyways. But like expand, like we just lean so heavy on it's the truth though. Yeah, bro. But this was 2 hours of like rape, punching, and robbery. He's a drug dealer. I like watching. I didn't watch Power, but I like what was that one that just came out?
Not
BMF.
Yeah.
BMF had good actors. It's a good story. It looks good. It's filmed good.
Meech's actual son, so they got a reference.
Lovely. But I don't know, man. This is the 1,000th time y'all have sold drugs. Y'all been selling drugs since Nino. I'm over.
I'm still all the blowback and backlash from Ariel being a a black person that actually I get paid to sing. Like I do the singing thing, and this is going to be a musical movie, so why not hire somebody that actually sings? But yeah, we're upset that you've changed her to be black, but I still ain't heard the same amount of uproar for when they was trying to recreate the image of Queen Nefertiti and Cleopatra and tell us that it was some green-eyed white woman, and they had these statues that they was gonna put in museums. And I still ain't had that same amount of uproar for that.
No, because
we let them get uproar about us changing some fictional shit to represent us, but they are changing actual history, and we don't even be batting an eye for real.
Yeah, because my thing is, I don't know, man. It's still some of this like internet rage. People are talking about boycott. What was it? Boycott Women King, but y'all didn't boycott Gods of Egypt. You just made a couple of tweets about it and then still watched the
That
film.
had one black person in it. Rest in peace to Chadwick.
So I don't know. Like that's my
not even that. It's everything. Like even for me, like as much of a Marvel head as I may be at times, still support Thor. But like this is fucking. They're made up gods that are the Kids Bop WoW version of African deities, and yet we will support Thor and know more about Greek mythology than we do.
WoW version of African deities is that might be one in one of your top 5 quotes.
I'll take that.
That shit. That's that's it. That's the one.
That. But it's like we love Thor. We'll support Thor, this, that, and the other. We support Hercules and all this other stuff because it's fantasy and it's fake. But they can told us it's real. But we also don't know. Well, before that, these are the recreations. This is not the original versions of these things. Every culture has some version of these types of deities.
And I guess also that's another shit that made me think too right now. Like, as much as we're trying to tear, like it seems like there's a group trying to like just destroy, and I'm not trying to take up for the slave trade people, but like because of that group, that specific area, we have these specific gods you're talking about. That whole area, that them, the oil, the Yoruba people, all of them are the reason when they came over here, we understand even remotely of what that is. That's why you have, I want to say if I'm not a, if I'm not tripping, like because of that area and that trade, you get voodoo, you get Loa, you get the Rada and the whoever, like because of those the things. Now, what I like to like take that excerpt out and just like skip slavery, sure, but like I don't know, man. There's certain things where everybody's just like, know your history. Okay, well, you know it. Say the whole thing though.
But we say know our history just because we can know a little bit of information about the last 400 or 500 years. That ain't really knowing your history because you still missing thousands of years of information prior to that. We don't even know the information that really contributed to the 400 years that we know. We know slavery, but we don't really know what contributed to it, who participated in it. I say that all the time. Like we blame white people in this country as black people. We'll stereotypically look at white people as the problem for slavery. It's like you do realize that whole entire region of Europe, that little tiny area that's really not as big as they make it seem on the map, they terrorized the entire planet. The Spaniards, the Portuguese, like everybody in this area.
That's another
had
thing.
A complex.
Shit. That's another thing that the movie did that I feel like some people, just the average onlooker, just like white people did terrible, but people don't pay attention. Like they talk about the Portuguese influence in slavery, and they got busy. Like if you go down to Brazil, it's a lot of people look like us down there, specifically off the slave trade.
Speak Portuguese and think that they're not us.
So I think that even there's little things that like I'm like I appreciate this part of the film because we always just act like everybody who did slavery came from England. And even though them with the whole blockade,
we can shit on them and the Queen all day long, and I'm highly for it, but they ain't the only people that we have to understand participating.
I would say I didn't like they threw in this just unnecessary part of like this little romance thing, and it just had to be like but that's my own personal thing. I'm so tired of not seeing like us fuck with us on film. It was like out of all these bliggity black crunchy black niggas on, they throwing swords and shit like these niggas is monsters out here. You don't kick it with this light skin nigga, bro. What the fuck?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you months ago before the movie came out?
What the fuck?
I mentioned it on an episode in here. It's like I wanted to see the movie, but I feel like they're gonna throw in some of that appropriating John Smith bullshit.
And it's not a huge they don't go off the sunset, but it's unnecessary. Like
It's
when I'm
very
watching it,
unnecessary.
I didn't need this. This piece was like you could have him.
It's unnecessary, but who's doing it? Because although I love Viola, she is historically known to have her a light-skinned partner.
Oh, it's not her though.
Oh, it's not?
No,
okay,
it's
I
another.
assumed it was gonna be her.
No, it's another character, but like
Okay.
it's
My
it's-
bad, Viola. I thought it was you. Again, I ain't seen the movie.
But
you
still,
do
now
be
that
fucking
that
with
to
the-
me
with
would
the light
lead into
brights.
something that maybe like I could probably get Kenny to comment on, because it's like, okay, we're writing this, we want to make it a big thing, make it look good, and we're gonna throw this little piece in there for us, and it's like that was unnecessary. You didn't need that. Be the villain, be the whole villain, or if Dog, it's because he's having his own like self-reflective journey, but it's like let him have that. But this, sometimes I just don't need that in every film. I feel like it's just, by the way, here's a film, here's a movie, here's a commercial. Damn, everybody else can kiss everybody else, but we can't ever be with us.
The Nazi Walt Company told us that Pocahontas and John Smith were in love.
That was such a dirty lie.
That's a lie.
That's a
very big one.
Even that, like, y'all not boycotting Disney, who be telling blatant lies in this film. I don't know, man. I'm not saying that, because I enjoy that. Even this film, like there's a video that I found on YouTube that I realized I had saved and watched like years ago, but it made me look up some of this information. So I'm like, cool. Like even that to me is a bit of a benefit of, hey man, was this really how it went down? Go look it up then. Go look it up. Because y'all want these niggas to get up here and make $10 million movies to just force feed you. No, like, go look it up. You understand that this group existed. I wonder what they was about. Go look it up the same way you look up all this other shit that does not matter. Like at all, it doesn't matter.
TMZ. The Kardashians are like their fifth show damn near.
Yeah.
How do you niggas keep getting jobs to appropriate us? We keep giving that attention, but we can't use. Hey Google, tell me about the Doheny tribe. Hey Siri, how does slavery look in Africa? Like you can look this shit up in a matter of milliseconds. We won't look that up, but we know that Rihanna's panty color for today is fuchsia, and she'll be arriving at LAX airport by private plane at this time. Before this, like we'll know all the nonsensical bullshit, but we won't know importance.
And I think not looking it up gives weight to other arguments. Like when you talk about how heinous slavery was here, you have this big issue about this movie without telling the entire truth of it and of how slavery was and how our culture worked over there. You give weight to them going, it was everywhere, man. So why don't y'all just get over it? Like just saying shit and not understanding what you're saying has repercussions. I mean, obviously, have your opinion, be able to say I'm wrong and come back to it. But like niggas just having like it, how long it takes. I make videos, bro. You know how long it takes for you to sit your ass up here and just stitch a picture and just say some wild shit. Like just, it's such an easy thing to shut up a little bit and then, say something that, matters.
Read a book, read a motherfucking book.
Or listen to a commercial.
Read a book, read a motherfucking book.
Or listen to a commercial.
¿Qué pasó? This is Rix with the Brown Skin Investors on our podcast, Brown Wealth Radio, where we reach and teach nuestra gente on financial literacy, exclusively on TGN Latinx on the Good News Network, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, to be specific.
Is it time for a career change? Are you looking for that role that pours back into your city? Bright Star Schools is an organization that is dedicated to supporting their educators to grow their careers, serving students and families all around the Los Angeles area. Apply now. Bright Star Schools is offering sign-on bonuses from $5,000 to $7,500. Bright Star Schools is your next career move. So apply today. Visit www.brightstarschools.org and click join our team or email your resume to teach@brightstarschools.org. Let's educate within.
Yo, this is Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked, and even though they extra as hell, check out Never Not Extra on TGN Network.
That's right.
Y'all gotta have notes, cue cards, teleprompter.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the podcast pit.
What's the podcast pit?
I'm glad you asked. The podcast pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The podcast pit is coming.
The podcast pit is coming. Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the podcast pit.
What's the podcast pit?
I'm glad you asked. The podcast pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The podcast pit is coming.
The podcast pit is coming.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Alex Himes from Courtside Radio. We'd love to have you tune in every Monday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. right here on the Good News Radio Network. Don't forget to tune in every week, people. We'll see you then.
Are you looking for the best barbershop experience? Then the Locker Room Barbershop is the place for you. Check them out at their new location, located at 16900 Lakewood Boulevard, Unit 204 in Bellflower, California. If you would like to book an appointment, you can check them out at thelockerroom05.com or on Instagram at The Locker Room Barbershop LLC. Feel free to call the number 562-202-9602. Again, that phone number is 562-202-9602. Can't wait to see you at the Locker Room Barbershop.
What up, what up, what
up? So, as I was going to walk the snake real quick, I had a thought to transition this a little bit more into like away from the cultural component, but still addressing the cultural component. But as far as lies and truths, what is a lie that you've told to yourself that you need to be more truthful about? That's a question I just wanted to pose. Anybody can answer that. But it also made me think of, like, I've had this quote in my mind for the last few weeks, and I was going to post it on our Twitter. I just haven't. But like the more I look at it, it's like there's too many natural hairstyled women out here for me to be chasing down some fake bodied, fake everything, Barbie doll, plastic person. Right? But that's the truth versus the lie. The truth is the natural black women with natural hair, keeping up a certain aesthetic, looking a certain way, and they feel like they're in competition with the BBL gang. We make it seem on social media as if we gravitate towards the lie of the BBL gang, when in reality, most men are probably going to gravitate closer towards the more natural. Not 100% natural is a spectrum, but we'll gravitate towards a more natural than we will a complete nip tuck, so to speak. But it's like we love the lie so much that we will bolster up the lie. You'll see way more of the fake bodies that get way more attention and stuff on social media than you will see natural women.
Right.
You'll see way more of the stereotypical lie of like the lighter skin still gets more love than say extra dark women. Like you'll see a light skin or mixed looking or whatever the case is woman, not to say that she's a lie, but you'll see her get more love and support for looking pretty than you would a woman who's the same color as your t-shirt. There's no fact that one is prettier than the other. They can actually both be gorgeous, but we'll hold up this lie that she looks better simply because society has told us so for so long, or whatever lie that we are told on social media or in music, going back to music videos, because we grew up in the age of video vixens and main girls and placing certain women at the forefront and other women to the back and all that other stuff. Like we've gone through these different areas, but we gravitated towards the lies more. The Nelly tip drills and all that other stuff. It's a lie. All that's a lie. It's a fabrication, it's a production, and we ignored the truth. Shifting it to mental health, how many lies do we adopt for ourselves and in our life, and we present it as truth because we are ignoring the actual truths that we need to pay attention to.
Tons. I think that's how you get like unhealthy coping mechanism. If you're saying like people do that, I would say shit even in like a career. Like I think I remember saying that like early on, even me getting into this space, like a lie I was telling myself, like I'll be happy with just getting a good job, going into I was dead set applying and headed towards a master's program that I would have been miserable at. I was super cool with like the lie. I was like, I had like kind of felt it even along the way in school, but like like fear of trying something that I wasn't too sure of, but I knew I was interested in. And I didn't get that until I was like grown and got in the field or whatever. But that was a lie. Like I'm gonna get, as long as I have money, I'll be happy and I'll be able to go to work. And I just realized I'm not built like that. I need to have something that fulfills me and also pays me a good check.
Right.
Like as much as I go back and forth with like being in certain spaces, because if you're pro tip, if you're like jumping into like some of these nonprofit agencies, it gets kind of wonky. But the doing the actual job of, oh, you're this way, like having you come to me this way and you leave my care this way, yeah, I'm in. I'm locked in. Yeah, cool. And I get to kind of like be myself and get paid for it.
Right.
Hence the podcast as well. But that's something like a lie I was telling myself, like I could go to, your boy was going to applying for departments and getting pretty far until you get to the end and they start asking you like, can you do this and that, without I can't do that. Y'all go ahead and take my name off that list.
I mean, I know that was similar to one of many lies that I've told myself. I can remember like through high school and even college after my bachelor's, like I've always had this fear, which is my truth. I've always had this fear of living an average life. Whatever.
I resonate with that.
Yeah. Because the portrayal of, especially as a Black man, living an average life just isn't one that people want to be connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And the closer I got to, finishing the first one, I say it was a little bit before that, towards the end of finishing my bachelor's, starting my first master's and all that other stuff. It's like purpose is more important than the average or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Like this facade of like, I need to make 120 plus a year just to be happy. Like, kind of like you were saying, as far as finance is concerned, to be able to do this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Like that doesn't guarantee happiness. Like, yeah, I may not be that right now. Granted, years later, hindsight 2020, I have the ability or the potential to make that much, especially in a month. But that lie of like average I can't live an average life. I don't want to live an average life. I can never be happy living an average life because nobody's like, happiness isn't going to follow me living an average life. I need to have something that's a little bit more extravagant. I need to have something that is lavish, so to speak, or I need to have high titles in what I do and be accomplished scholastically and professionally to be able to be happy, because average just isn't good enough. And now I'm living super average.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a lot of purpose and I have a lot of people that gravitate towards me because I do something that they view as purposeful. Nowhere near the amount of money of, 6 figures. But I have purpose. That's the truth. So I faced that lie of average can't be good enough. And now I'm living the thing that I was afraid of. And it's like, this actually ain't as bad as I thought it was. It actually has more importance.
I resonate with that, especially like in the work thing. I always try to I also have like, I look at you, I look at like family members, other people in my life to like I'll have my like money day.
Mm-hmm.
But that does lead me to have kind of the revelation you have as far as like the lies I'm telling. And that also bleeds over into like, say, the relationship space. Cause I've ran the gamut, like, most dudes about what I feel like are certain lies. And I've been very adamant about here, like lies we tell ourselves, or, you learn from your grandpa, you learn from whatever, you learn from society. And like, those are just lies told. And I'm like, this really impedes on not only my happiness, but I feel like the success of what a real good relationship looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie. Like, all you need to do is, pay for things, get your balls empty and get your stomach filled. That's a lie. I feel, And I look at the other side because I know, like, obviously traditionally women have gone through like a lot of heartaches and shit when it comes specifically off the backs of men. But I look at things that they say and I'm like, I can adopt that. Like that makes more sense. I know like that's somebody make a meme or a joke like women want to be the bit so bad, but the era of like understanding like I'm dope, and not just for my scholastic stuff and my job things, but I was like, no, I need more because I'm a person, I'm a human. This is a lie I've been telling myself, and I've been unhappy in this situation with somebody who I probably could be happier with, but I'm lying to myself saying like I don't need that much, which is a fear thing. I'm scared of this person leaving because I'm gonna say, hey, this really ain't, we not cool. I'm not having fun with you. I'm not interested when we do this. Like we're not stimulating each other. I don't feel connected. So on and so forth. Like those, you know, it always gets like demonized. Like I know like what niggas said, but like the whole I'm not feeling loved or whatever the fuck in this situation. Like it's not here. The connection's not hitting. It always gets boiled down. You turn into old boy from the Boston Celtics. I need to go get me some side coochie, which is him. He seems like he's wilding.
I'm about to say he didn't need to go get it. He never stopped having it. But that's a whole nother conversation.
But being truthful with yourself in that regard, will be like setting yourself up for happiness. But I know, like, I feel like what deters that are moments like dude from Boston, and you have like swaggy P statements like men just get bored. No, I don't say little comments like that. Explain what that could be. If he's bored, if he's feeling whatever way, expound upon that. It doesn't make him right, but there are reasons behind it. Or because you end up doing that, or you turn into like a cornball nigga. Like, and I'm saying this as a body who was a fan, man. I'm still like a fan of certain music, but like that shit the baby did, like shit like that is
gonna bring up.
That shit is corny. Like
It's unnecessary.
and that's another thing of like a truth that just, I don't know if it's true. Let me take that back. If it is the truth, it's completely unnecessary and it's corny all across the board. If men or women do it, like, I used to, I hit that, but I was gonna keep it player. What was the point?
And part of me just feels like it's not even that good to even be doing all this about. But that's just
that shit might not even be true. I'm gonna go ahead and ride with that. Proof it.
The proof will tell you that thing mid. It just looks real good. But that's just me. But speaking of truth, and that's a whole other conversation. Truth. Diving into that can expose more. So not that I have all the tea, because I don't.
Not the tea.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have. Well, I have that tea. That's tea, but I don't have the tea. But like when I heard the situation as far as the Boston Celtics coach, I'm not a Boston Celtics fan, so I really didn't give a rat's ass. I just saw coach and scandal and won't be playing for a year or whatever. I just see stuff while I'm in the gym, and then I find out more stuff later. I was like, oh, I didn't know he was engaged to Nia Long. Now, my stepmom used to be cool with Nia Long because she worked on a movie with her and they had a friendship and they were cool for a point in time, things of that nature. I've also come across older people in my life that have had run-ins with her. It's like, oh yeah, she has a real diva personality. Like she can be real, like she can be a bit funky sometimes.
Don't blame women.
But it's not to say that, the perspective came to mind. It's like, oh, if he's cheating, maybe he was unhappy or doing all these other things. Because he got the fake presentation of, this is Nia Long, she fine, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But the reality of dealing with her on a day-to-day is not as enjoyable. So he's dipping out because it's easier to just dip out and continue to keep the facade going because we both getting old and our dating pool ain't gonna be the greatest. So let's keep this facade going. We can still manage each other in some capacity, but I'm gonna do my thing over here and try to keep it under wraps because you can just be insufferable sometimes. Like we don't look at that possibility. Not to say that it excuses his behavior, not to say that it's a justification, but the truth is like there's two sides to every story. We may look at it and not the swaggy P niggas just get bored sometime. That's the bullshit. That's the bullshit thing that we latch onto and say is truth. When really that mindset of lowbrow, low functioning activity is really like 10% of most men. The 90% or the 80% of men will be like, no, it's like it's not that great being in this relationship with her, and I found refuge somewhere else. Like I wasn't even trying to be a dirtbag. She's just way better for me than this person, and this is a tumultuous situation. But you're not gonna listen to my truth. You're just gonna listen to one.
I think that's I think in general, even outside of the Boston, I gotta remember his name, but outside of that, I think that is a certain, I think that I can't say, I'm not gonna say that's every man's truth, because
No.
but I would say that that is a truth that maybe a lot of dudes deal with and don't know how to discuss. Like, and I think well, here's the question, like, why cheat and not discuss or leave? I think at the end of the day, that is the best thing to do. I think a lot of dudes get fearful that if you leave, you then have, I think a lot of dudes don't want to be the villain.
Right.
I think that there is a fear that, it's not talked about, it's not expressed properly, and that's all on niggas to figure out a way to do that. But I think there is a fear that when you leave and you can't just say, she's not a bad person, man, but it's not that. She's not good for me. Like
Right.
the same, and at this point, like, and it's not like a stab at them, but the statements that a lot of, like, I see on a lot of these like pages, a lot of women say for them, like, it's not serving. You don't like, you can say that as a dude. You like she literally like she wasn't serving me. She's not. And whatever your list is of things that you need out of a partner, that, I know in comedy and jokes, even in those type of like skits and stuff, there's truth in those. And it's like this, we talk about them a lot here, like, you playing the game, she can bother you and nag you, whatever your thing is that bleeds into your relationship. You go like, I'm really not happy here. But on paper, this is a really good woman. Good this, good that. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman and a beautiful person. And it's like, what else? And if you go, I'm not happy here, then you're looked at as like, there's no such thing as I'm gonna just stay single till I'm fucking 85, because niggas don't understand, appreciate a good woman. But you never have a conversation. What does that look like?
Right.
I can go find right now somebody who I know personally, probably, like, has a post about what makes me a good man, and it's a laundry list of things, financially, emotionally, some of y'all even spiritually. I got to be able to quote the Psalms from the top of my head, and I got to be able to, like, hit the proper jig, lead a Bible study. Like, but I know dudes don't do that, but I think that's a lie dudes tell themselves, is you don't want to be, you don't acting like a bitch, man. Like, she cook for you, she suck your dick. That's all you really need, ain't it? Yeah, that's all I really need.
That's a lie. That's a lie that we have adopted as truth. There's another piece of truth, at least from my perspective and what I see. Yeah, it's easier to leave than cheat. It's really easier to, like, in my opinion, because I'm have to be your only form of relationship. Like, y'all can open it up, or you can be poly, or you can be non-committal and still have whatever. There's so many different ways you can do this relationship thing, but we just like to believe this lie and make it truth of that monogamy is the way you're supposed to go. But that's neither here nor there. But another lie is like, leaving isn't always as simple, especially when you're married.
Even if I would say, even
if you're not married, but like DV relationships are not easy to leave. Like, we can say that sometimes we use that against women. Like, if he's treating you like this, granted, there's not just women that are caught up in DV relationships, but that's another discussion. But why don't you just leave if he treats you like this? It was like, it's not always that easy. It's not until, like, we understand in our field the difficulty that comes with being in a DV relationship, and it's not that easy to always rip the Band-Aid off. We even have techniques to help coach people through it, because we know that you're not going to leave.
How do I box him in the corner?
Go ahead and figure it out. But even in divorce, people are like, well, you can just get a divorce if the marriage isn't working. Sometimes people don't realize divorce is like a 3-year process down there.
Got it. I just needed to, like, because what you're saying is true, but people are going to duck, I'm not married. People are going to duck, I don't hit people. I think there's a conversation of, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I know that in the courting space, and I've said this a variety of ways, being likable is a thing niggas come with, whatever you want to call it, game, charm, whatever. And I think one of these is, I put it up there, like, why isn't she's not good enough? Why isn't she's not good for me good enough? And it's a good enough answer. And I think a lot of dudes don't lean into that. Like, you can flat out say, like, you're not, I don't like you. I think a lot of dudes like, I love her, with everything I got. We've been through this. I love her for these, but I don't like this person. She's not good enough for me. And that is a hard conversation to have, because I don't think it happens often.
Right.
And it turns into, you have to, and I think a lot of dudes don't want to deal with biting the bullet of, you're gonna be a piece of, like, you're just gonna be that dude. Like, you don't appreciate a good woman.
You got to take that cape, take the L with it, because that's what comes with what you're choosing to do. That's part of the stipulation, especially as a black man. You automatically, anytime there's a split in any relationship, y'all could have been talking for a week and a half. Doesn't matter. Y'all split up is automatically your fault. That comes with the trope of being who you are, born to be naturally. So just take that and do what's right, at least for you. So it is good enough, but people are afraid sometimes. We human just like y'all. People may be worried about, like we talked about earlier, attention and acceptance can be addictive.
Yeah. I think that, there's a culture of,
I'm
like,
worried about that.
if she leaves you, it's like, you weren't meeting her needs, she moved on to better. It don't matter if she has, like, a valid thing. Like, I've had conversations with, like, homegirls, you just overheard, you didn't really hear what dog did. He just wasn't, I had to, On the flip side, it's like, hey man, oh man, you didn't have to leave her like that. I've heard homies say that to other friends, and it's like, he had a valid reason why he don't like her no more.
You
Like,
just looking at the fact that she built how she built and look how she looked. You're really telling me in this moment that you would like to smash, but since you my homeboy, you can't. So you trying to justify me staying with her. So somebody lock it up. Like, little do you know, she has terrible spending habits, which are going to be awful for an actual long-term relationship. She got BO like a motherfucker. And she doesn't know how to, be domesticated in some capacity. So you end up playing Cinderella in this bitch because she don't know how to do basic human life skill.
yeah,
You don't know that because you just look at her and see a certain presentation, the lie, and you're like, oh, you an idiot for leaving her. You don't even know the ins and outs, my dog.
So I think there's that. Like, obviously don't cheat, but I think that there's like a like you said, the presentation, this person is fun in this setting, we out, we partying, but this is not 90% of your relationship is y'all at the house, you going to work, you coming home, you this motherfucker breath smell in the morning, like those things. And if this person sucks in that space, then this can't exist. You only want me, word to Patrice, you only want coochie. That's all I want if that's all you got. And in our interactions, you've shown that's your best quality. If my best quality is like, same thing with niggas, like, I'm not a dude that's incapable of, like, anybody I've dated. I've done like the traditional, I'm paying for dinners, we're going out with this, that, and the third. But that's not my only quality. That's not what I want this to be based off of. And I honestly, I ain't got it all the time. So yeah, you don't like me because I'm balling like that. You like me because I'm a cool nigga.
You like me because all these wonderful qualities. Like you saying that reminded me of, I think it was yesterday. I saw I don't know her actual real name. If I'm not mistaken, it was Miss Basketball, whatever her full handle is on Instagram. But she was, I guess, on some podcast talking about, like, oh, yeah, I understand it's important for men to know their worth, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But it feels like men want women to chase them now. Like, women, who do you think you are? Why is it that men just want to be chased now and they feel like they don't have to chase us? And it's like, well, to your point, I'm all these qualities that are really, really nice to the point to where you want me to chase you so that you can have access to me. But why should I if I have all of these? I'm just as much the prize as you are. So why do we need to chase in the first place? Because I always thought chasing was stupid.
Yeah, I think that's bad terminology.
We're
It's
adults.
stupid.
We should be able to just have it. You look attractive. I think you look attractive as well. Let's have a conversation, see how it goes. Like, nobody should be trying to pursue the other. We should be co-creating a space together and figuring out if it works. But that's just my perspective.
I think that's the perspective. And if I liken myself to be an emotionally intelligent man and all this shit everybody said they won't, if I'm chasing you and that's what you're so hyped on, you're not invested in me. That's your ego.
Absolutely.
You want me to stoke the fires of your arrogance. That's not a foundation for a relationship.
That's a truth.
I like you. You like me.
Right.
Cool. Let's talk and see if we like merge together. But that's a mutual engagement. And also just
that's
from
the real truth.
Somebody run the stats. I have never seen, unless she looks like no body shaming, but unless she looks like what was that thing that was in Ghostbusters?
Slimer.
Unless she looked like Slimer, I have never seen a girl shoot her shot and it turn out trash. Even if she just has a good night, I ain't never, bitch, get the fuck, what the I've never seen that happen. But I have seen, hey, how you do? Fuck is you over here for? Like, I've never seen that level of disrespect towards a woman before. Even if he's not feeling her. You know how many times I've seen the homies just word to Breeze. There's a video of a girl dancing on Breeze, and we're in any other scenario, a woman's gonna, boy, if you don't get the, he just was like eating it. And that's for nobody's benefit but her own, so she doesn't feel bad.
Right.
So what are you talking about?
But black men don't protect black women.
I don't know if she was black in that video, but I've seen
But
it.
I'm just saying, like, those
I've
are
seen
subtle,
it happen regardless, though.
Those are subtle ways that we don't realize. Like, I understand this is an ego thing for you, or you're being out of control, and I'm protecting you, as opposed to, even if this is subtle, like, nah, I'm okay. Like, we don't look at that. And we don't even look at the level of disrespect that you expressed. Like, you don't care. And you will belittle this man just for introducing himself or saying hi or trying to create some conversation with you. You will break him down to a molecule just to make yourself feel bigger. But if the roles are reversed, stereotypically, statistically speaking, we're going to be like, no, it's okay. No, it's all good. Which I have been there myself quite a few times, where it's just like somebody pushing up on it. And it's like, no, I've like taken pictures, given hugs, and like had minor conversations with them just to slightly dismiss them so I don't make them feel bad, because I know what it likes to be said, who the fuck is you? I know what it feels like to be that guy receiving that, and I don't want anybody else to feel that.
Yeah, see, all of that. I just feel like, understanding likability is, I ain't gonna say more important than love, but like being likable is right on par. Because
purpose.
I've said that. Yeah, I've said like love is what makes me give you my kidney. Like love is for the big shit.
I'm not giving you my kidney because I only got one to give. So
love is what makes me like, pull out, empty my savings so the weekend, whatever. Love's for the big shit. But the stuff that gets us Monday to Friday, I gotta like you, big dog. And I feel like there's just this big emphasis on we're in love now. So oof. But no, man, likable is all the other shit that's important in this scenario. And I don't know that that's like
that's fact versus fiction. The likable is the fact. The fiction is the romanticized version of love that we've created as a society and try to hold each other accountable to.
Love is a lie.
that fantasy bullshit, the Notebook, Love Jones type bullshit that we try to seek. That's not reality. That's fiction, but we like to say that it's truth. It's not. The truth is learning how to be a decent fucking human being. Be likable.
I love Jones, man. That's the Bible right there.
Both of those movies were highly toxic. Play those in a room full of therapists, and it's not going to be the same movie that you think it is.
I had that conversation before. It was with a woman. So she's also in mental health. So therapist and everything. So.
Not all lady therapists are wrapped tightly.
Okay. You can communicate better with your ear. Sorry. Thank y'all for listening, though.
Oh, man.
That's it, man.
For y'all on the radio, on the TGN Good News Radio app. Bye. For those of you on YouTube, stay a while. Listen to the vibes. Groove a little bit. Yeah, let that hit you. Get your little nightcap. It's evening time. You should be at the crib by now.
Oh, it's dusk. You just got home.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just walked.
You sliding your robe on.
Yeah, you taking the stuff off. You did your.
You took your bra, your drawers off.
You done poured it up. You getting a little sip while you walking around the house. Got your shower on. Cut a bath on actually.
That'll be for later on in the evening. Right now they still gonna like prance around the house in comfortable clothing and still have like that 8-hour work funk on their genitals. Like that's
some good sex. You with your person has sex right now.
Oh,
like don't.
That's that Lowry.
Wait till I get and have sex right now. Let them pheromones hit them nostrils like cocaine, baby. I'm telling you.
You wash your meat. You wash your meat. You got to wash your meat, boy.
You got to wash your ass. Bye.
See y'all next week.